Hello, today we'll be addressing big data processing on the cloud with 4 tips to help your business take its big data processing needs to the cloud. Okay, so tip number one, find your problem. And yeah, I know you will say that your business has a very specific problem that is unique to your business and that there's no way that other businesses have had the same problem or that could be somehow related to it. But it is still very important and valuable to invest time into researching what other businesses have done in whatever area you're trying to solve with big data. So you can either find an existing solution that can work for your problem and you don't have to invest a lot of time into R&D, or get a greater understanding on how big data processing on the cloud can help you solve your problem. Tip number two, get your data. So you have two options. You either get data already existing from your organization or you buy it from somewhere else. If you get data from the organization, you should ask yourself these 3 questions. Do I have enough data to analyze? How can I eliminate biases? And will I use collections or streamline data? Or if you're going to buy your data from somewhere else, you have to ask yourself, can this data give a meaningful answer to my problem? Maybe the data that they are selling to you is too broad or too general to the point where you can't draw any meaningful conclusion to the problem that you are trying to address. Do I have to pay or license the use of this data? Is it representative of what I have to know? Answering these questions will give you more clarity on how to source your big data. Tip number three, choose a cloud platform. So this is very specific to what your needs are. There are many companies that offer cloud services, for example, Google, Amazon, IBM, Microsoft. So there are literally many options to choose from, and many of these companies offer specialized services to process big data on the cloud. So this is really up to your organization's needs, what services you need. But in general, I would suggest if it's your first time trying out big data processing on the cloud, you should use because these services from these companies cost money, right? So you could use free services like Kaggle or Google Colab to run experiments on the data that you already have. And this is very useful even if you already have big data infrastructure, because you can run experiments that won't cost you anything and that you can later, that same code, that same analysis, use in your uh, cloud infrastructure when you already know that this specific processing will work and will give you a meaningful answer. Finally, tip number four, optimize your process. So it really depends on what your pipeline is, what system you have designed, which optimizations you can perform. But here are some general points that can help you better consider some alternatives that you maybe haven't considered before. First, parallelization. Consider using Hadoop or Spark to better parallelize the processes of your data. Uh, Ask yourself, is the way that you are storing your information the best way to represent this data? Maybe you are using a graph visualization, but your data would be better represented using a document visualization. So consider these aspects to both represent your data better and to make your already existing systems on the cloud work better with this data. And finally, for the cloud service, have I bought the best cloud to solve my problem? This is complicated to figure out because there are many options. But if you already have an infrastructure, you should consider every now and then checking up on your cloud provider catalog to see if what you have right now is the best fit for what you are doing. But you have to consider that for these optimizations that I'm suggesting, it really depends on if your cloud, big data cloud processing pipeline is going to be something that you use continually, or is it just a one-off to solve one specific problem? If you're going to use it only once to solve your problem, then maybe consider, well, you maybe don't have to optimize your process that much because you will be investing more into optimizing a problem that will be solved in a week. But if you are going to, your business is going to continually be using big data to answer difficult questions, then yeah, you should totally consider these optimizations to make your life easier and your pipeline even better. All right, so those were my 4 tips to help your big data processing on the cloud. I hope you found them useful and see you next time.